So over the years, percent equations are very, very divisive with students. Students either love the percent equation and they want to get rid of proportions altogether. And there are other students that look at it and say, no way, I've gotten good at proportions. I don't want to learn another method. So this is meant to give you more options when you are working on percent problems. A percent equation is an equivalent form of the percent proportion in which the percent is written as a decimal. And this is going to be the big make or break when we are doing percent equation. The biggest, sort of most important thing is the fact that the percent has to be written as a decimal in order to use this method. Okay, so anytime you do part over whole, it's worth the percent in decimal form. You can also say that the part is equal to the percent multiplied by the whole. So we're going to look at how to use this as an equation instead of looking like a proportion. It's the same idea. It's the same concept. The big deal is that you have to remember that the percent is always in decimal form. So the first one that we're going to do is find 62% of 75. Okay, so part equals the percent multiplied by the whole. Now, don't forget, part was our is number, whole was our of number. So in this case, we're saying the percent is 62, but you have to remember to write it as 0.62 because it's written in decimal form. Of number is 75, and the part is the thing that we're looking on, so that's where the x goes. So all you actually need to do in this problem is multiply the 62%, 0.62, times 75, and you would find that the missing part number, the missing is number, 46.5. And you would say, oh, I got it. 46.5 is 62% of 75. Like that's the answer. That's the thing you were looking for. You were looking for the is number for this question, or the part. Next one, part equals percent times the whole. Don't forget part, your is number, whole, your of number. 287 is equals what percent? We don't know, of 410. So that's where it's getting multiplied by the 410. So part equals percent times whole. Now in this case, I've got multiplication on the right side. I would have to divide both sides by 410. It is a one-step algebra problem, and I would get 0.7 equals x, because the 410 on the right divided by 410 cancels. And you would need to know that that 0.7, the thing you were looking for, was a percent. And so 0.7 is actually, move it over two places, 70%. Your answer, the thing you were looking for, is 70%. 287 is 70% of 410. So far we had the part number as the thing we were looking for. We had the percent as the thing we were looking for. Here, we're going to do part equals percent times whole. 33 is, so our is number, our part, is 55%, write it as a decimal, 0.55, times the whole number is the thing we don't know, the thing we're looking for. One step, I would divide both sides by 0.55, and I would get 60 equals x. And you would all say, okay, that's great. 60 is the answer. What does it mean? 33 is 55% of 60. The missing thing that we were looking for was the of number, the out of. You could also say like 33 out of 60 is 55% if you were looking to sort of explain it in your head what it meant. Scott wants to buy a new set of skis that cost $250. If a 6% sales tax is added, what is the total cost? So the first thing we have to do is find the tax. We're finding 6% of 250. So we're like, okay, so part equals percent times whole. We know the percent is 6%. We're going to write it as 0.06. The whole is $250 for the skis. We're looking for the part that is going to represent the tax. So the tax is going to be equal. If we do 0.06 times 250, it equals 15. That means we're paying $15 tax. it's a word problem, so we need to have at least the units, the words in the answer. Find the total percent. So if we were paying for the skis, we would be paying for 100% of the skis. If we were paying for the tax, we'd be paying for 6%. Altogether, we need to pay 106% of $250. So another way to do this, instead of doing them separately, we could just say part equals percent times whole. The part, well, we don't know it, right? The percent, we are looking for 106%. But if we're going to write that times the 250, remember we have to put it in decimal form. So we've got to do x equals 1.06 times 250. We cannot plug it in percent form, has to be in decimal form. Now this is supposed to be an arrow, but it looked kind of like a smiley face. All right. And if we do 1.06 times 250, we actually get the $265, which is the total, right? $265 total. Up here, we had only found the $15 tax. So if we had paid $250 for the skis and the $15 for the tax, that would be our 100% of the skis and the 6% for the tax. We would have paid $265 total, regardless of which method we used. So you can use method 1, where you find the tax is $15 and add it to the $250 for the skis. Or you can say, well, what total percent am I paying? I'm paying for 100% of the skis. I'm paying for 6% tax, which means I'm paying 106% of the $250 price tag. And then we just use 1.06 as our percent, and that covers the price of the skis as well as the tax on the skis. So 2 methods there as well, using the percent equation. Let's see. The cost, including a 5.4% sales tax of a PS3, is $268.77. What was the original cost of the PS3? So somebody paid for a PlayStation 3, and understand this is outdated, right? We're buying PlayStation 5s now. But they had to pay 100% of what was on the price tag and 5.4% tax. So altogether, this person was paying 105.4% of whatever was on the price tag. So if we do part equals percent times the whole, the part that they paid was $268.77. $268.77. The percent that they paid was 105.4. So if I move my decimal point over 2 places, 1.054 times whatever the whole price was on the price tag. This whole was the whole price of the PS3 on the price tag. This part includes the tax. And this is a great problem to look back at, tomorrow or days later when you want to review how can we use this percent equation to our best ability. This is really the sample question to look at. So now on the right, I've got multiplication. It's a 1-step equation. So I'm going to divide both sides by 1.054. And I would use a calculator for this, clearly. And you would get 255 equals X. But you would need to know how to interpret that. What does that 255 mean? The thing we were looking for was the whole, the price. Oh, sorry, I wrote here price tax. Price tag is what I meant to write. I apologize for that. 255 was the price on the tag. So 255 was the price on the tag. You can also say it was the original whole, right? Because we were finding 1.54% of that mystery price tag, and we found that it was 255. And it does make sense. This number should be smaller because 255, we multiplied it by the 1.054, which is the 255 and the additional sales tax, coming out with a higher number, the price including the sales tax. All right. Christine wants to buy a new pair of boots that cost $74. If the total, including tax, is $77.70, what is the percent of sales tax? So we're going to look at that same percent equation. Part equals percent times whole. So the part she ended up paying, this is the part that includes tax, is $77.70. We don't know the percent. We know the whole. That was the price tag, was 74. And it makes sense, right? It's got to go up. $74 was the whole. We add in some extra percentage, and then we get the price, including the tax. On the right, I've got multiplication. I'm going to divide both sides by 74, and I'm going to get 0.05 equals X. Now, you all need to interpret that. That was not a 1.05% tax. That actually stands for, when I take it out of decimal form, 105%. So she had to pay the $74 for the boots, right? Plus an extra 5% sales tax. The 100% is the $74. The 5% sales tax is that extra that bumped it up to $77.70. And if you were curious, the 5% from 74 to $77.70 is the extra $3.70 for tax. This question would have been a lot harder to do it as a proportion without recognizing that we could use 105%. Would have taken you a lot more work. So sometimes the percent equation can really help you out.